Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. So really quick before we begin, 2 stories on this video. The first one doesn't need an update as you'll see, and the second one does have an update. Now let's get started. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user AITAMIL Girlfriend. Am I the a-hole for messaging my boyfriend's ex? Throwaway because I'm pretty sure people involved have read it. I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 30 male, for about a year. Before me, he had a relationship with a girl for about 5 years and lived with her. From what he told me, he joined the military and they tried to make it work. He never went into details about why they broke up, just that it was for the best and it was mutual and that they were on good terms. So with them being on good terms, they are still friends and follow each other on all social media. Some of his mail still sometimes ends up there, so she'll text him if it looks important and he'll say whether she should toss it or forward it to him. He also left a decent amount of stuff behind after he moved out because she has mailed him things she's found before. Then one day, she calls and says she got a juror summons in the mail for him and they were on the phone for a solid hour about this. I thought this was super rude, but whatever. I asked why she couldn't just forward it to him and he told me to shush. So they get off the phone and I asked why he shushed me and he said he was trying to listen to what she was saying. I asked if he suggested to her what I said about mailing it to him and he said no. I asked if she even knows about me or if he was trying to hide me from her. He asked where that even came from. Clearly, they're still friends, so I feel like she should know me. He told me it doesn't matter and that he's sure she does since they're still friends on Facebook. Then, the other day we were with his friends and he mentions how he wished he would have remembered to get his poker table from his old apartment. I said how we should ask her for it. He laughed at me and said there's no way he could ask her to ship it, but if he's in the area visiting, he might call and ask to see if she still has it. I lost it. I asked why only he would be visiting and why I couldn't meet her. He asked why I wanted to. I told him she doesn't even know I exist and she should, so she knows her place. He said I was crazy and told me I needed to grow up. He said if I don't let this go, then we're over. I decided that he was wrong and she did need to know who I was. So I messaged her on Facebook and she read my message but didn't respond. I sent another saying that I deserved some respect from her as boyfriend's current girlfriend and I'd appreciate a response. She reads it and still no response. Turns out she took a screenshot and sent it to my boyfriend asking why I was messaging her if he wanted something. He showed up at my house asking why I did that. He seemed calm, so I figured it was fine and I told him that I needed her to know and this way we can get his things. He blew up and said I was making problems where there weren't any. I said he was choosing her over me. He said he couldn't be with someone who created drama and broke up with me. I think he's being dramatic and I doubt this breakup is going to last. Am I the a-hole for messaging her? Well, OP, to your specific question if you're the a-hole for messaging her, then my opinion is that yes, you are the a-hole. However, if you're asking if you're the a-hole for everything else, then yeah, you're also the a-hole for everything else. First of all, if your boyfriend needs help with anything regarding his ex-girlfriend, then I'm sure a 30-year-old man could ask you. But if he doesn't say or ask you for anything, then that's as far as you can go. Also, what is with all this her place and respect and all that stuff that she should know that you exist? No, she shouldn't. She's a total stranger to you and you are to her. Anyway, OP, in summary, yes, you are the a-hole for this whole situation and I'm pretty sure that your ex-boyfriend is not gonna get back together with you. And I'm pretty sure, hopefully, that his next girlfriend will not message you to let you know your place. And what do you guys think? What is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Wine or Death says, you're the a-hole. Who cares that you are the current girlfriend? It does not matter. You don't know this person and she doesn't know you. This is all very self-centered. You want her to know. Why? What does knowing you exist do? Sounds to me like you don't trust your boyfriend for whatever reason. Total red flag there. But the bigger one is you're going beyond your boyfriend's boundaries and contacting her. And he had every right to be upset by that. Lord Arsh says, you're the a-hole 100%. It's his stuff and he doesn't want it, and frankly, maybe he doesn't want to ask her for it after so long without looking petty. Yet, you want him to get that stuff back. Further, if he's friends with his ex, it doesn't matter, and I can sense from this write-up about how controlling you are, and frankly, I'm happy he left you and doesn't have to go through all this. Further, you getting angry at him, talking about a jury summons, and then messaging her and trying to start a fight and simply being rude was unwarranted and shows how controlling you are. Also, why they broke up is simply not relevant, and there are certain things you don't just bring up randomly to an ex like "this is my girlfriend," and frankly your boyfriend adds you on his socials, so it's obvious she knows. Not trying to hurt your feelings, but please see this and try to introspect where you went wrong and try to improve. My apologies for sounding rude, but it is what it is. You're the a-hole. Unfettered Silence says, "You're the a-hole. Why would his ex need to know her place when she's got no place in the relationship between you and your boyfriend? Sure, they still interact, but you don't really need a relationship with his ex. It's enough that she knows your boyfriend is in another relationship." And OP responds, "Because she could have told me about the mail instead of talking to him out of respect for our relationship. At the very least, she could have responded to my message to her like an adult instead of telling on me." Additional information from OP's comments. She lives on the East Coast and we live on the West, so a casual meetup wouldn't have been able to happen, and I certainly didn't want to be her friend. I wanted her to know I was with him now. He said he thinks it would be weird to introduce us since they aren't close, but she still texts him about his mail, so clearly they are. Now, my first message wasn't rude and super polite, which is why I was offended she didn't respond. At the very least, she could have responded to my message to her like an adult instead of telling on me by sending screenshots. I care about their interaction because I'm the current girlfriend. If anything, she should text me about the mail instead of him, out of respect for our relationship. Also, he should be completely transparent and honest with me, and that includes letting her know where she stands. That is, as his ex-girlfriend. And if he would have told her about me, I wouldn't be a stranger to her. Anyway, he's clearly going to realize he overreacted. Well, the community absolutely agrees that OP is the a-hole, and I'm a little bit worried she might be a bit delusional regarding her ex clearly thinking he overreacted and getting back together with her. I do not see that happening at all. Now, this story is quite special because it doesn't have an update. However, the ex-girlfriend in question wrote a huge comment on OP's post clearing up the whole situation, and then OP replied again. So let's finish this story with that, but of course, I gotta tell you first about the playlists. Here's another one that only has stories with updates. Now let's move on. Holy crap, is this a joke? Says, holy crap. So, hi, I'm the ex-girlfriend. Literally just chilling, a bottle of wine deep, when a friend forwards this to me and is like, is this Lindsay? Hi Lindsay, it's Jenna, Mike's ex-girlfriend. I don't even know where to begin. I'm flabbergasted. For people who may be wondering, or for Lindsay, Mike and I broke up because he up and joined the military without so much as a conversation, for a lifelong dream he has without ever once mentioning it the 4 years we were together prior. Trust was a little shaken, but I tried. Fun fact about long distance relationships, distance is just a giant freaking magnifying glass on the problems and issues you overlooked. And when he came back the last time, we decided, nah, we're good, and broke up. He moved most of his crap out and currently regretting not fighting for him to take it all or being mean enough to just put it out with the trash. We've been broken up for 3 years and I've texted him 3 times, I guess until the screenshots. Once about a letter that looked important and wasn't, 2 times to mail crap to him, and the only phone call made was prior to letting him know about a juror summons. He could have gotten a warrant for not responding. It was maybe 15 minutes long and I had to have been on speaker because you were whining so damn loud about needing attention and you were hungry and bored. I did offer to mail it, but he said it would be faster for the information over the phone. Yeah, crazy. So, for all the people who think it's shady we're so close still, we ain't. We're still friends on Facebook, so yes, Lindsay, I knew about you since you post and tag about 4 pictures of you two together a day. Also, kind of surprised you went this route, simply because when we were together, he was obsessed with Reddit. So I'm sure he'll see this at some point. Don't worry, I'm not going to take a screenshot of this. Clearly, that got me in trouble. Honestly though, Lindsay, can you blame me for not responding? Well, I guess so. Sorry to disappoint you guys, but I won't share her message because the dummy put a lot of super detailed stuff in there, so putting it out there would totally dox him, and that's not cool for him. Or me, really, I guess. Or her. In any case, the gist of the message was her thinking that throwing his rank at me meant I had to give the poker table back. I must respect someone of that rank and in turn her because she supported him into that rank. So basically, they were both ranked that. Hell no, I wasn't responding to that level of crazy. Had he called me and said he was in town and wanted to grab the things and you showed up, I wouldn't have thought twice cause we weren't going to have a damned picnic. But I'll tell you what, you better not show up anywhere near my house. Also, screw you for doing this cause now Mike needs someone to vent to and I ain't the one. Go say sorry to yo man and put this crap to bed. And Opie responds, how nice of you to finally want to have an adult conversation where it's public and you can make me look bad. I don't care why you broke up, he clearly chose me and I figured reminding you of his rank would remind you of that respect we both deserve. I tried messaging you on Facebook again but you blocked me, which is really immature of you. It must be nice that he's talking to you about our problems, I'm sure you're loving that. You would think since you don't like drama, you would have stayed out of our relationship, but I guess not. I am going to give him his space and hopefully work this out over the next week or so. Nobody throws away an almost year relationship with someone that loves him as much as I do. Grow up and have a nice life, Jenna. Okay, hold on a minute, OP. Almost year relationship and they broke up 3 years ago? So you met your ex-boyfriend 2 years after he broke up with Jenna and you still needed her to know who you were? OP, you need help or you're going to be nuking every single other possible healthy relationship you have, or you're probably going to end up with somebody that also has issues and it's not going to be a good relationship for either of you. Also, just throwing this out there, he's in the military, not you. It's his rank, he earned it. You didn't. Anyway, let's now move on to the next story that, like I said in the beginning of the video, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user GuiltyBalance556. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom if she wants to plan a wedding to get married? I, 32 female, recently started planning my wedding with my fiance, 31 female, and my mom immediately jumped to help us plan. I thought at first it'd be okay, but she will call vendors and venues she likes and give them my information, so they call me about a scheduled time and my mom swoops in to say, it'd be rude not to go since they invited you. It was obvious it was her after the 3rd time when she wouldn't stop giggling and admitted to calling beforehand and making appointments. I wouldn't take issues with this, but my mom and I have wildly different tastes. Every time I or my fiance tell her something like how we want to have this color for the tablecloths or these flowers, she'll tell us that they look bad and will give us her own plan. She recently showed us a massive binder of different ideas she wants us to look through. It's exhausting. At every step, she will insist on looking at her ideas, and when we reject them, she'll throw a fit and tell me I don't love her because I ignore all her wishes. I also want to add, I think she's had it in her head since I was a kid that she'd plan my wedding. Even before I came out and dated men, she'd comment on how excited she was for the wedding. And when I told her my fiance proposed, she immediately started berating me about when we'd have the wedding so she could help us plan it. Part of it is that when she married my dad, it was a small courthouse affair because she was pregnant with me at the time and never got a proper wedding. My dad also died 17 years ago and she dates sporadically, but never for longer than a few months. The last time my fiance and I went to see a venue, she tagged along and made all these comments on how gross everything was, pointing out all the tiny things wrong with it all. The person showing us was getting annoyed, my fiance was getting annoyed, and so was I. She eventually said, "If this were my wedding, I'd never even consider this dump." despite it being absolutely beautiful and within the budget. I snapped and told her that if she wanted to plan a wedding so badly, she should get remarried. It was cruel, but I was so tired of her trying to have her perfect wedding through me. My fiance thinks I'm not at fault, but the rest of my family doesn't. Am I the a-hole? Well, OP, in my opinion, no, you're not the a-hole. Sure, you could have said it maybe in a nicer way, maybe, but you were annoyed, of course. But yeah, your mom was crossing all those boundaries. She doesn't get to dictate what your wedding should be like. I'm sorry that she didn't get to have the wedding that she wanted when she married your dad, but unfortunately that doesn't mean that she gets to live through you regarding your wedding. So anyways, in summary, OP, no, you're not the a-hole in my opinion. And what do you guys think about this situation? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Bandit Coot Flat 5838 says, not the a-hole. Cut that off. Tell her she is not welcome to come to any viewings. She is allowed to send you one email per week with her suggestions, but that is it. And that if she calls and makes appointments for you anywhere else, she is no longer invited to the wedding. For the rest of the family who has taken her side, tell them she is being unreasonable and they are welcome to get her help planning a party of their own. Conchitu says, not the a-hole. What you've said is correct. Your wedding is not her do-over wedding. However, I have a question. Is mom paying? Maybe she gets the idea that since she's paying, she gets a say. Kindly shut that down. And OP responds, she's not paying for any of it. My fiance's parents are paying for some, but that's because they've had a small savings for her wedding since she was young. My mom is not paying a penny, and what isn't covered by my soon-to-be in-laws will be paid out of pocket by us. Schneef Queen says, not the a-hole, but if you're giving in to her tantrums, that's not actually setting a boundary. If anything, it's just showing her you have no boundaries and she can get what she wants if she cries and guilts you long enough. For a boundary to work, you need to follow through and hold strong. It doesn't matter if she gets upset because the boundary is there for you, not her. And trying to cross your boundaries constantly is extremely disrespectful of her. Why does she deserve to be comfortable over you? I know it's easier said than done, but your mom sounds like she has narcissistic personality disorder. She knows how to manipulate you into getting what she wants by making herself the victim. Corgwin says, everybody sucks here. Your mom for trying to take over the event, you for not telling her earlier to back off. You need to set a boundary with her and hold to it before you get to the point of blowing up. Now you know what that feels like. When you feel yourself approaching your personal limit, you know that you need to do something. You do have some control over the situation. And OP responds, me and my fiance have spoken to her multiple times and told her to stop, and she won't. If it's not making appointments, it's suggesting places over and over until we agree just to get her to stop. There's no boundary she hasn't crossed. We have tried enforcing boundaries, but she just doesn't listen and will cry and guilt me and my fiance until we go along with her or look at what she's picked out for us. Alright, well, community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, however the community also agrees that OP needs to do a better job at enforcing boundaries. So now, let's move on with the update to see how this story ends. Hello everyone, I took all of the advice to heart and me and my fiance had a sit down and looked at the comments together and we agreed we both need to grow spines. Our wedding planner is truly a saint and had no problem setting up passwords with vendors as some people suggested. It was a great suggestion, so thank you. We then invited my mom to dinner and told her that she has to stop trying to help us with the wedding. It started off badly as she brought her binder and had her own wedding dress in her car. Her dress is in very bad condition, would not fit either me or my fiance and is quite frankly hideous. I would never say that to her face, though I've told her every time she's asked that I want to pick out my own dress and she should keep hers if she wants to get remarried. Anyway, she assumed that we had invited her to apologize and let her plan the wedding however she wanted. How she jumped to that conclusion, I have no idea. We lied about not wanting her to get overly stressed in the hope she'd take it better than telling her that she's been causing problems and that she hasn't been helpful. She didn't take it well and started crying and saying all she ever wanted was for me to have the perfect wedding and she'd already given up getting the perfect son-in-law and grandchildren, so at the least we could let her plan the wedding. It stunned us both as she never has said a bad word about me liking women, not when I came out, not when I got my first girlfriend, not when I and my fiance got engaged. That put me over the edge and I told her that she wasn't going to plan anything. She was a guest and nothing more, and I would be cutting her speech if she was going to behave like a child. She had a full-on tantrum, so me and my fiance paid and left her to cry and scream in the restaurant. That was all fine and dandy until our florist called to tell us my mom had called to try and get the flower arrangements changed behind our back. I called her and she tried to lie until she realized she was backed into a corner and admitted to doing it because she knew what was best and was trying to help. Needless to say, I've now uninvited her from the wedding with the full support of my fiance and my soon-to-be mother-in-law and father-in-law. Well, Opie, I'm sorry you had to get to the place where you uninvited your mom, but well deserved. Now you can just plan your wedding and enjoy your day without having her put tantrums and pressure on you the whole time. So all the best to you and your fiance in the future, Opie. I hope you guys have a lovely wedding. Thank you for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.